So you see that the connection to the trolling motor was made. It's got a GPS signal. All I'm going to do is double click this bottom button. Okay, and it's on the trailer, so it's not the best thing to do to drop it down, but if you go ahead and hit the raise and the lower on the trim side of it, then you can keep it up in the air. So I'll go ahead and do it so you can see it. So double click, and then right as it starts to deploy, I hit the up arrow and that stops it. And then you can see I can drop the head up or down, and then to pull it back in for deploy, you just hit that button once and it comes back in, and the motor contains itself. It's pretty nice deal. There's a cable here, there's another dongle, and I've got that tucked inside where the power is. This is the bottom of this trolling motor, actually has a 2D graph transducer built into it. That's what's this piece of the head here. There's a cable that comes out of this, and if you pull it out, plug this piece into it, you can actually mount a graph up front and put this in the back of that graph. I have that stored in this little container for you. And then this the remote just goes and turns itself off as soon as the head unit turns off. And turning off the head unit, you just hold the power button like that. Kind of coming back here, you've got kind of a big storage area in here that does allow for rod holders. It's for skis as well. It tucks way back under. That's the ski pylon right there that you see. I used to store life jackets and stuff in there. Along this side, you've got your 2 rod holders. These are lockable. I used to stick probably 8, 9 rods in each of these. They're pretty slick on either side, and then they're lockable as well. What else? Right on this side, this is where I used to store the bumpers, and it's also got the anchor light. I've got 3 bumpers I'm going to be including with this that are the same color as the boat. Up here in the front, you've got kind of a little storage area here that's got a drain plug, so it can be used to put ice and drinks and those types of things. The radio is in here, and I think I gave some instructions for the iPilot remote. These units, these little pieces here, I'll explain a little bit later in another video, as they're used for the Bimini. So this is lockable as well. There's the graph. You got all your controls. They're really straightforward, just live well bilge. The bilge is manual switch, but you got to put the master power on first for anything to work. So once the master power is on, then you can press these little buttons to pop the lights. I don't know if you can see those. This is the ignition right here, really straightforward. It takes the straight key. So right there, all of these are for the lockable all the lockable areas, and these are just little flip switches like that. So they lock real well. Got your gauges. This is on a kind of a gimbal type deal that you just spin, a little ram mount, and then it moves back and forth. I had a second graph there, so I went ahead and left the ram mount. There's no sense in giving a big hole, so if you ever want to add another graph, you'll have the holder for it. Also, real quick, that little white puck back there is an external GPS, and I've got that wired all the way through to the Humminbird, and the reason that's valuable is because the external GPS gives you better directionals because it's at the rear of the boat. So if you're trying to see on the graph where you're moving, that's going to give you a better directional. There's a manual in this little storage unit right here. Nothing big. Up underneath here is where the house batteries are. You just spin this off, and then the battery's up underneath there. I've got a charging cable right here that I installed aftermarket. That's for the house battery as well, so you just put a plug to it, and then that'll keep you charged on a maintainer. And then up here in the front, you have the same thing. If you can see up underneath there, that's what this is. That charges the 2 trolling motor batteries. Both are on board, so you don't have to have anything other than a plug. You can see the 5 seats, or the 4 seats anyway, and then you've got the lean post up here. These seats flip up, obviously, and then they flip down. The chairs are probably going to block them. Oh, no, we're good. So another butt seat or lean seat can go right here. You've got storage here with just a drain. And then I think this is the rear live well. I've never used it yet. There's your float in there. And so, and then on this side, these are the trolling motor batteries right here. So that charging system, that's what it's actually using up front. It's charging these batteries back here. And then right here is where the ski pylon goes. No, never used it, but it is stored in the center of the boat. All right, I'm gonna put the Bimini on and then I'll explain that in one more video. I've also got the travel cover that's drying out right now. I washed it up real good.